Alright, well this is my run through of the Pokemon Crystal Elite Four, and we're just gonna look at my team real quick. And a lot of them have names that are kind of references, like Kidnapper the Hypno, Houdini the Alakazam, pretty cool references. You got except for Lil Magnet, I should have said most, but yeah, Lil Magnet ain't got a reference. Cruiser doesn't have a reference either, but Brock is a reference, and so is Jane. And so that's the team we're heading into the Elite Four with. The first Elite Four member that we face is Will and his Psychic types, and he's the only Elite Four member to actually go through and make sure that all of his Pokemon are Psychic type, even though he has two Zatus, with the rest of his team being a Jinx, an Exeggutor, and a Slowbro. Now, the plan here was Kidnapper the Hypno going in and Shadow Balling, which, even with Future Sight, that Zatu did not see that coming. And guess what? Neither did the other Zatu, as it goes down in the same way. You would think it would have, you would think that Will would have learned and, try to do something different. But nah, he just sends out his second Zatu and it goes down just as fast as his first one. Now, this is when he sends out Jinx, and that is when I realized that, well, it's not Gen 4. It is only Gen 2. It's still the physical special split, so Shadow Ball is a physical move, one-shotting the Jinx. I don't know if that would have, well, it probably would have, but I didn't think, because my whole plan was literally just Shadow Balling. I think you could tell I didn't think. Anyway, we go for Hypnosis, it misses, and Exeggutor sets up a Reflect. Go for Hypnosis again, it misses, and Exeggutor hits an Egg Bomb. That just so happens to be a critical hit, but it leaves us just above half, so I'm fine to go for another Hypnosis. And unfortunately, this Exeggutor is really tanky, and so when I shoot out my first Shadow Ball, he ends up tanking it really well, and he still has above half HP. So I'm like, okay, he's asleep, I'm gonna go for another one, hoping for the critical hit. Don't get that, so he gets put down into the red, and I don't know if Will has any heals. Even if he did, he only uses it on his highest level Pokemon, and that was his second Zatu. So I just Shadow Ball again. Exeggutor doesn't wake up and doesn't really do nothing to me, so I just end up defeating his Exeggutor. Now next, he throws out his Slowbro. And I'm sure a lot of people know Slowbro is a tank. So my thought process was, I'm gonna try to Shadow Ball it, just to see if I can, at least deal mediocre damage. Little did I know, I hit a crit hit. And so down goes Will. Now on to the next Elite Four member, Koga. And like I said earlier, he does not have all poison types. Unfortunately, he has a Fortress, which is Bug Steel. So yeah, that's kind of going to be hard for Houdini to handle up against, but basically the plan is Houdini Psychics all of his Pokemon. This was my first time going through these games. I didn't know, what Pokemon that Koga had, really, up until I played this game. Same with all the Elite Four members. I didn't know much about this game in general. I was like, nah, I don't really want to play this. It's not really on the Game Boy Advance. But then I'm like, you know what? I played through Gen 1 with Nuzlocke rules, but didn't record it. I'm gonna do the same with Gen 2, but I'm only gonna record the Elite Four and also the Champion in red. Just to see. Anyway, Houdini, nothing really crazy with this battle. It's kind of like Will, where instead of spamming Shadow Ball, which is a Gen 2 move that I had no idea was a move that was introduced into Gen 2. And, basically Houdini just Psychics, whereas Kidnapper hit Shadow Balls. So, Nothing to really say about this match. You know, Koga has the worst poison team I've ever seen. Though, to be honest, I mean, with all the Pokemon he would have had to as an encounters, you know, he's probably got like the best team he could get. I don't know. I'd probably put like a Beedrill over Venomoth, because then it could learn it learns Twin Needle. So that's that would have stuttering a lot, but I don't care. Anyway, you know, that would have covered the psychic weakness if they would have had like a Beedrill instead. You know, way better than whatever they got, or whatever he has. Anyway, on to Bruno. You can probably tell I'm a little bored. Still, I've been trying to record this for a while now, this voiceover. Anyway, next we have Bruno, yada yada, Hitmontop, knows dig, doesn't get paralysis for some reason, and so I start going for agility because I forgot to put protect on Jane, which I had TM for. So I'm stuck going for agility in between the dig turns unless the Hitmontop gets paralyzed, which it's not gonna happen yet. So now I'm just outspeeding. I'm basically a speed demon compared to this Hitmontop. Or well, Jane's a speed demon. God, her name comes from like an old TV show I used to watch, Jane and the Dragon. God, Hugo. If y'all know, y'all know. Anyway, Hitmontop finally gets paralyzed, and I go for the surf ending this Hitmontop's life. I hated this Hitmontop. It was annoying. Anyway, next I think is the Hitmonchan. This thing has the elemental punches, which does include Ice Punch. So I Thunder Wave it, you know. I'm like, you know, it's probably gonna paralyze. I wasn't wrong, it paralyzed first turn. But like, you know, I was still curious to see how good, or bad, you know, would Ice Punch do to Jane. So Hitmonchan shows me. I tank it really well, even with the level advantage. You know, you would think that I would take more damage because it's a super effective move, but nah. Because physical special split hasn't happened yet, because that doesn't happen until Gen 4. So, yeah. Anyway, I got frozen, and, you know, I get brought down to 35 HP. I'm super lucky, though, because I defrost on the first turn and hit Hitmonchan with a Surf. Ending this Hitmonchan. Absolutely wrecked. So anyway, Bruno throws out his Hitmonlee next, and I'm like, nah, Jane is not gonna survive that. So I'm like, okay, what could I bring out? You know, I got Cruiser, but I need him to have, well, I mean, I had full restores in the back. I was like, I could pull out Cruiser, Brock, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna pull out Houdini because Psychic type, super effective against Bruno's Hitmonlee and his Hitmonchan. Not super effective against the Onix, because the Onix is rock ground. I don't know if Bruno knows that. But yeah, just one Psychic takes out the Hitmonlee. You know, nothing to really see here. I mean, if it'll save y'all the trouble. You know, Houdini actually ends this battle with full HP. You'll see it a little bit later. But anyway, see, I'm like, what can this Onix even do to me? You know, Onix attack is weak, so I'm gonna recover. You know, see what it can do. I was right, it does absolutely nothing to me. Houdini tanks it just really well. Because it's Onix. Onix sucks. But the funny thing is, I gotta give Bruno an Onix when I'm doing this little project thing I'm kind of working on. You know, I'm gonna test to see who's the best gym leader an Elite Four and champion, which includes everybody, by the way. So yes, I will have like a battle with Ash's Mons as well. But like, I'm not gonna record it. I'm just doing it because I like doing that. It's fun. Anyway, Houdini kills the Machamp. Yeah, nothing new here. Anyway, now we're on to the next Elite Four member. Karen. Karen is a dark type Elite Four member. You can't get much funny. You can't get much more ironic, especially with Karens. So, I throw out Brock. I'm like, he's probably my best bet into Karen. And Karen throws out her Umbreon, and I'm like, I'm gonna hit it with Earthquake. I hope it kills. It doesn't. Umbreon hits me with the Sand Attack. But Brock shrugs off that Sand Attack and is like, I'm just gonna kill you anyway. He hits Umbreon again, gets the kill. Now, I am really proud of Brock in this battle. Brock was absolutely one of the best. I love Geodude. It's one of my favorite mons. Whenever I get the chance to catch it, I usually go for it. And, I hit the Vileplume with an Earthquake. She lives, and I get paralyzed. And I'm like, what move can kill? And I get fully paralyzed again. A little unlucky. Vileplume uses Moonlight, heals. Earthquake. When in doubt, Earthquake it out. Earthquake is the most powerful move that Brock can learn, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, then she sends out Houndoom, and that's when I'm like, okay, this is an easy Earthquake. I get crunched. The Paraflinch strat doesn't work. Not to mention, I'm Sand Attacked, but I'm like, nah, I'm shrugging it off. I haven't missed yet. I've only been paralyzed. So yeah, I take out the Houndoom, and out comes Murkrow. Now the thing is, I have Rock Throw, so I'm like, I'm just gonna use Rock Throw. I don't know why I still have this move. It's a 50 power base. It's a 50 base power move in Gen 2. So yeah, it kills though. So I'll take it. And then Karen sends out my favorite Pokemon, Gengar. Now, I get fully paralyzed, and Gengar licks Brock twice. But when in doubt, Earthquake it out. And Earthquake finishes the Gengar. And that's it for Karen. I'm proud of Brock. He fought through a lot to do that. So anyway, that's the last Elite Four member. And now I gotta face the champion. Alright, so with Lance, he's the champion. He's terrible. He's a terrible person. He literally killed somebody earlier in the run. Now, I got a lot against Lance. I don't really like him. I don't know what he was gonna, start with, so I just send in Kidnapper. He puts the Gyarados to sleep. And I'm like, yeah, I might as well send in a little Magnet. It's not like the Gyarados is gonna wake up turn 1. Thankfully, that doesn't happen. I easily hit that Gyarados with a Thunder Shock, and it goes down. And unfortunately for me, Lance has a Fire Blast Dragonite. And so that is the biggest threat towards Lil Magnet. So I'm like, well, I can't really get a save switch in, so I'm just gonna Thunder Wave. It Thunder Waves, but no Para, and I get hit with a Fire Blast that's super effective. And I was thinking, oh, Lil Magnet is dead. I was ready to sack him, but he lives on 35 HP. Kind of seeing a trend of living on 35 HP. But yeah. And so, I'm like, you know what? Time to put the plan in action. I send out Cruiser. You know, he tanks Fire Blast really well. And that is when I start the Blizzard. See, 4 of Lance's Pokemon take 4 times super effective damage from Blizzard. That's the Fire Blast Dragonite dead. And next Lance sends out what is presumably the Thunder Dragonite, but that Dragonite doesn't get his Thunder off. So, because Blizzard one-shots. And I don't really know which is which, though, to be honest. So, forgive me if I'm wrong. This could have been the Blizzard Dragonite. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't care either. Next comes out the last Dragonite, which I presume is the Blizzard Dragonite. And ironically, I Blizzard the Dragonite. You know, literally the plan. And now Lance is down to his final 2 Pokemon. Aerodactyl and Charizard. And so, you know, Blizzard's really good against Aerodactyl. The Aerodactyl outspeeds and actually hits me with a wing attack. You know, doesn't usually happen, but it happened this time. And I just kill it because it's 4 times super effective. Now, last is the Charizard, and I just want y'all to know I have the Never Melt Ice on Blastoise. So I'm thinking it would be funny if I could kill the Charizard with a Blizzard, an Ice type move against a Fire type. It would have been funny. But unfortunately, no, it only does half. And so I get hit with Flamethrower, which does nothing because I'm a Water type, you know. You would think this Charizard would have like a better move to hit me with. And so I'm like, alright, that sucked. I guess I'm just gonna surf for the kill. And so down goes the Charizard. And that's Lance. You know? That's the farthest I've gone in a Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal run. And so, you know, I mean, here's my Hall of Fame. You know, Kidnapper the Hypno. Just, you know, Brock the Golem. You know, Lil Magnet the Magneton. You know, Jane the Dragon Air. You know, Cruiser the Blastoise, I think. Yeah, there's Cruiser the Blastoise. And then Jane the Dragon Air. And then finally, Houdini the Alakazam. Now, unfortunately, this run is not done. There's still one more challenge left to do. And that is to beat the former champion, Red. You know, I don't really got a plan for him. So unfortunately, Brock and Lil Magnet do not survive the next round. So now I have Piers the Umbreon holding the black glasses, and Nacho the Heracross holding a black belt. And those two only have one job. However, the rest of the team is kind of the same. You know, they all have what they need. And so, yeah, this is... Oh, I also forget to mention, I got rid of Houdini the Alakazam and replaced them with Bear the Snorlax. So let's start the battle. Now, Red's Pikachu is level 81. And I already knew this thing's gonna go for Thunder. So I'm like, okay, Umbreon has Sand Attack. So I Sand Attack as the Pikachu Charms. Which is fine with me, because Piers wasn't supposed to really do anything. It was, you know, just a mon that just helped me out when I needed it to. So anyway, the Pikachu takes half from Bite, even though it charmed me. That's how you know Pikachu is bad. You know, if the Pikachu would have gone for another charm, I would have done nothing to it and probably wouldn't have killed it. But it did go for charm. Anyway, so next, the Red sends out Snorlax. And I'm like, alright, I have the perfect Pokemon, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, do a little bit of chip damage, you know. Snorlax uses Amnesia. Special defense goes up, and I'm like, alright, time to bring out the Pokemon that I brought specifically, which is Nacho. Nacho's only fighting type move that it has is Reversal, which means it does damage when it gets hit. So I use Reversal. First hit does nothing because I unfortunately was faster. You know, it kind of sucked. However, I get brought down to like 27 HP, and I Reversal again, and it cleanly kills the Snorlax. I wouldn't say cleanly, but yeah, cleanly. So yeah, Snorlax goes down. The only Mon that I only brought Nacho in for the single Snorlax. And unfortunately, with the fact that I like playing with Nuzlocke rules, even in a regular playthrough. So, yeah. Venusaur takes a Mega Horn and decides to set up in the sun. And I'm like, oh wow, I probably could have killed this Venusaur. But unfortunately, Nacho just gets short of the kill. So he goes down to he goes down to a Solar Beam 07 for Nacho. Alright, next, I'm like, okay, you know, time to bring out Kidnapper and kill the Venusaur. You know, one psychic does it, you know, does the job really well. And unfortunately, you know, for some reason, Red sees Kidnapper and is like, I'm gonna send out Espeon. You don't even have Umbreon, you have Espeon. You're like, I'm gonna send out Espeon. And so I'm like, alright, finally, Piers' time to shine. You know, the Espeon sets up a Reflect, which is fine, because, you know, I mean, Dark types are special, so, you know, raising your defense was kind of useless there. Go for a Sand Attack, and that's when I'm like, oh, right, it's using Swift. Yeah, I might as well just kill it. So yeah, it's just a 2 hits to kill with Swift. I mean, not Swift. Jeez, a 2-hit kill with Bite. Keeping it now, okay. Anyway, yo, Piers gets the kill, and the big threat comes in, which not a big threat. It's a Charizard. However, it is pretty threatening towards Piers, and I'm just like, I'm gonna Sand Attack it. And it hits me with Flamethrower. And does a lot of damage. So I Sand Attack it again. And it proceeds to hit, the reflect fades, and it hits me with another Flamethrower. Now see, at this point, I'm legitimately trying to save Piers' life. You know, I'm trying to make sure that he doesn't die. I'm like, I could have switched out, but I'm like, Baton Pass, it'll probably miss. Yeah, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Piers dies. And so I get a free switch into Cruiser, which has got to be the MVP of this run. I don't normally like Squirtle, but when I did get, you know, Cruiser, I'm like, geez, this has got to be the MVP. You know, because last time I've had, like, the other 2 starters, like, Venusaur is pretty useful, but, like, meh. And I lost my Charmeleon in Gen 1, because I'm doing an unofficial Gen lock, and so, which is why I have Cruiser in the first place. Now, I'm like, do I have someone who could tank it? And I'm like, oh yeah, I have Jane. And Jane is looking a lot different than when I last time showed her. So the Blastoise hits Jane with a Surf as she comes in. You know, Jane is a Dragonite now, so the joke makes a lot more sense. And she also has Thunder Punch. Jane. Unfortunately, it's a 2-hit kill. But Blastoise only sets up the rain. So I just recover with leftovers and get an easy kill. So yeah, that was easy. And now, I think next is the Venusaur, I want to say. Oh wait, no, that's it. I forgot, I killed Venusaur earlier. Jeez, doesn't matter. I killed Red. I was a happy man. I was a happy man in that moment. I could never have been more happier. And that's the end of the run. So, my channel is, I might as well just talk about some stuff here. My channel is going to be doing some changes. I'm not going to be focused on one type of content anymore. You know, my main channel is going to be all about everything. However, I will have like a second and third channel kind of pointing out some of the stuff that I want to play. You know, I might have a second channel that's dedicated to Fire Emblem and Pokemon, but I might sometimes, you know, upload on the main channel. You know, I'm gonna have like a bunch of different things. You know, just as long as I do like really well with it. Now maybe I can get a little React channel, but you know, probably not the best thing to think about. So, you know, best thing would be working on my main channel, work on a Pokemon/Fire Emblem channel. You know, get that done, you know, make some videos for those, and just, you know, schedule them so that they appear. Which means I'm rebranding, basically. I'm not really doing, well, I'm not rebranding, I'm still, well, I mean, I might. I've had a couple ideas, but I haven't gone through with them yet. You know, one idea is to change my username to just Joshin. You know, going with my real name. However, I think it kind of sucks, you know. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm just gonna stick with pacifist for a bit, you know, just to see. And so now, I'm just like, okay, you know, I'm fine with just pacifist, you know. And with my Pokemon and Fire Emblem channel, I could probably go with Pokafist, you know. That's kind of the name I go on with Pokemon Unite.